Welcome to the first Talk to the Paw event. Talk to the Paw is part of the Live It program and is an initiative from social marketing at Griffith. If you want to know more about Talk to the Paw and Live It, go to liveit.com.au. Talk to the Paw it will be a series of events that will invite guest speakers, and each one of them will give their best advice on easy to implement tips and hacks about how you and your furry friend can live your best lives. Today, I have Hannah from Chapter 1 Dog Training, and she is the trainer and the founder of her own company, based in Redlands. Chapter 1 focuses on getting the best start with the puppies, and all of her training is games-based, meaning that you and your dog are playing and learning together to build your skills. Hannah has over 10 years hands-on experience training dogs, and trick training has a special place in her heart. Let's get started.
Thanks, Patricia. So I'll start a little bit off with how I got into trick training. I got my first dog at 9 years old, and I used to joke that I wish I could be homeschooled so I could play with him during break times. Little did I know I would end up finishing high school online over the last few years, and what I ended up doing, instead of paying attention in class, I would avidly watch YouTube tutorials of how to teach your dogs tricks, and then whenever I had the opportunity, I would go out with my dog Cody and I would teach him a bunch of cool new tricks. So Cody and I have done a lot of trick training over the years, and we'll be doing a little demo at the end as well. So just some benefits of trick training. The first thing is teaching tricks to your dog provides awesome physical and mental stimulation. So if it's a rainy day or you don't feel like going out for a walk, doing a training session with your dog, teaching them some cool new tricks is an awesome thing to do. The second thing is teaching tricks is practice communicating together. So the more rehearsal you have, communicating with your dog, teaching them new things, the faster the process will be, the more clarity you'll have, the easier it will be to teach them new commands. The third thing is trick training builds your bond by spending quality time together. The more you invest in your relationship with your dog, the improvement you'll see across all areas of your life and training. So if you're ever in doubt with what to do with your dog, always invest in your relationship with them. The next thing is tricks increase your dog's focus and engagement with you. If you're out and about, you're trying to get their attention, doing some tricks, bringing their arousal up, getting them excited to work with you is a perfect thing to do. The last thing is it's cool to have some party tricks to show off to your friends. So we'll be doing a little demo at the end for you, getting you excited about the cool things you can learn with your dog. The first thing I want to talk about is the different types of training. So one of your types of training is shaping. Shaping is where you take that end goal and you break it down into little small steps. You reward the success of each step and you build the criteria to that final result. Shaping is really cool, something I'd highly encourage you to try with your dog. An example of using shaping would be if you wanted to teach your dog to hit a button or ring a bell, the steps you would take is rewarding them for looking at it, going closer towards at it, sniffing it, licking it, hitting it with their paw, and building the command from there. Another type of training is capturing, so waiting for your dog to perform the task naturally, marking it and rewarding it. So an example would be if you want to teach your dog to lie down, if they're lying down you can go over, say yes, give them a treat and build the command that way. The one we'll be focusing on today is luring. So luring is where you use food to guide your dog into a desired position or behavior. And I want you to think of the treat like a magnet to the dog's nose. You don't want to leave the dog behind. I don't mind if they're nibbling, licking, that's completely okay. Luring is really great for building confidence through repetitions with minimal frustration as well. So really great method for puppies or dogs that don't have a whole lot of experience with training. What we're gonna do before you get into the tricks is teach your dog a luring game. So you want to spend some time teaching your dog that following food actually has massive benefits. So there's a little game you can play. It's called Paint the Town. Basically how you play is you're going to put a treat in your hand. You can cover it with your thumb. You're going to lure your dog side to side. What this does is it teaches your dog that following food has massive benefits, so it'll make teaching tricks in the future much easier. What's also good about this game is it builds their focus for you and food. You can also influence their arousal with this game, so you can go quite quickly, bring their arousal up, really jazz them up to work with you, or you could go quite slowly to promote calmness. The fourth thing is it builds their grit and determination. So in the beginning, particularly with puppies or dogs that aren't super foodie, you're gonna reward every few steps. You want your dog to have lots of easy wins, lots of success before you try and make this game harder. If your dog's really foodie, really getting the hang of this game, you could do 2 or 3 strokes before you even give them one treat. So it really builds their determination for working for that food. The next thing I want to talk about is the types of treats. So in general, you want something small and soft that can be eaten quickly. A good rule is maybe the size of your pinky nail, just so you can get through those repetitions. If you have a dog that is quite high drive, high energy, fast twitch, you may actually like to use something a bit more chewy or crunchy like your liver. That'll just give you a second to prepare yourself and get yourself ready for the next repetition if the dog keeps beating you. So some really good treats to use. I use plain cooked meat like chicken or lamb. Prime 100 roll is awesome to use. Ziwi Peak, have a play with whatever your dog likes and whatever they're happy to work for. Day to day, I would highly recommend just using their normal food. This way you're not going to overfeed them. Your dog needs to be fed every day anyway, so using their food keeps you accountable to doing some training with your dog as well. The more you do that as well, the experience will become more important than the taste. So your dog will really start to love to work for food with you. So the first part of teaching tricks is teaching a reward word. So a reward word is a word that tells your dog you liked what they just did and a reward's on its way. I use yes, a lot of people use good. I tend to steer people away from good boy, good girl, just because I know I use that a lot in my general language when I'm just talking to the dogs. I want something really specific to training. So with anything, dogs don't know English. You need to attach meaning to words. So what you're going to do for your reward word before you start teaching your tricks is you're going to pick your word and then you're going to give your dog a treat. So you go yes, treat, yes, treat. Be really mindful with your mechanics. You want to say the word and then deliver the treat so the dog's not just focused on the food coming at their face. The other thing you can do is clickers. This is a clicker, a little handheld device that can really help with your trick training. So your clickers work in the same way as your reward word, but what's cool about clickers is your hand will always be faster than your mouth, so you can mark a more accurate moment that your dog did something right. It's also a consistent sound, whereas our voice can vary a little bit. So more complicated tricks like we talked about earlier, getting your dog to hit a button or ring a bell, a clicker can really speed up the process there. So like the reward word, you can't just go clicking around and expect your dog to know what you mean. You need to spend some time charging that and giving that meaning. So what you'll do is click, treat, click, treat. With both the reward word and the clicker, you want to make sure you wait until your dog's ears perk up when they hear it, so they're anticipating that that reward's coming and you really know that they have some understanding of what that is. So let's go over the formula of how I would teach a trick with luring. The very first step is teaching the meaning of the behavior. Again, dogs don't know English. I don't want you to pick the trick that you're going to teach and start babbling the word. You want to teach the meaning first. So let's take the example of spin. You're going to spend a long time on step 1. So what you're going to do is treat to the nose, lure your dog in a big circle in front of you, and reward on completion. Say yes and give them a treat. Just some troubleshooting with that with spin. Make sure you're holding the treat to your dog's mouth or nose or a bit lower. If you hold it too high, your dog may sit. If your dog's really struggling with this movement, you can reward them halfway and then again at the end. Reward your dogs for little steps towards success, and then build the difficulty from there. The next step you're going to be looking for is when your dog is doing that behavior faster and faster, or maybe they're even offering it themselves when you bring the treats out. That's when you're ready to add your verbal cue. So again, with spin, you're going to say spin, lure them in the circle, yes, and give them a treat. Practice that for a little while longer, and then you can move on to the next step, which is fading your lure. So fading the lure, how I do it is I pretend I'm holding a treat, do the exact same process, and then reward from my other hand. Once you get to that point and practice that for a while and the dog realizes the food is coming from elsewhere, you pretty quickly can fade your lure into a hand signal. So again, with spin, over time you just want to slowly minimize your movements, bring your hand upwards, and my end goal with spin is just a little flick of the hand and the dog will spin. The next step is you really want to make sure that your dog understands the command. So practice with just your hand signal, practice with just your verbal cue, practice in a lot of different environments. A lot of people will come to my classes and say their dog can do something at home, but a command is really only truly solid when they can perform it under every circumstance. So we might do a little demo now with my dog Cody. We'll show you a couple of tricks he knows, get you inspired to teach some tricks with your dog. So we'll do that now. Cody. I've got the treats. Cody. Good boy. So we'll show you what that spin looks like as a final product. Ready, spin. Yes, good boy. And with spin, you can go through and do the exact same process with the other direction. Twist. And I've added a different verbal cue for that. Some other cool tricks you can teach your dog. Circle. Oh, confused. Circle. Circle. Good boy. Leg weaves is another cool one. Loop, loop, loop. Good boy. And you can teach them stationary or walking. Sit, weave, oh. Weave, 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 weave. Good boy. Nice one. A cool trick for your small dogs, you can teach them to jump through your arms. Through. Good boy. Through. Good job. Through. Nice. Super. Awesome. Hey. Good job. Awesome. So if you're interested in learning some more tricks with us, we will be at Dog Fest. So that is on Sunday the 14th of November. We'll be doing a little mini trick workshop. We'll be going through spin, leg weaves, middle, so where your dog comes between your legs. There's some really cool things we'll be doing there, so we would love to see you there. And do we have any questions?
All right, thank you so much, Hannah, for teaching how to teach dogs training, basics of training, but in a fun way, really.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. So if you want to hear more about upcoming events for the Talk to the Paw series, join us in the Live, Love, Bark monthly treat. The link will be in the comments for you. You can join a community of dog owners that receive every month some monthly treats, prizes, giveaways, discounts, and also you can keep up with us in our upcoming Talk to the Paw events. In the next Talk to the Paw event, we'll feature Ryan Tate from Tate Animals, and he will teach us some hacks of how to overcome some of the most Googled bad habits. So I'll see you next time.